Hi, this is Dr. Gary and welcome to my weekly tune-up this week. I want to thank many of you for contacting me this week and emailing concerning some of the concerns they had about the tune-up staying on here. I'm going to do my best to keep it on. And I had one particular comment from someone called Bridge Hands. That's their handle. And I appreciate your comment. And what that was is for me to share some of the positive comments coming into these tune-ups and coming from these tune-ups, and how it's helping many of the people out there. And all I can say is there's not a lot of time to do that. However, you can check out that comment page on YouTube, and there's plenty of them there. We've got them posted for you. And I really appreciate the comments. And many people, as Bridge Hands had requested, are saying good positive things about this. And more people are joining onto it every day. So we appreciate that. I really appreciate it. It gives me validation that what I'm doing is important for all of you. Here's a question for you. This came to me about 3 weeks ago, and I thought it was fascinating, especially my reaction to it. Somebody walked up to me that I know and said, Dr. Gary, if you could tell yourself something 5 years ago, knowing what you know today, what would you ask or say to yourself? Man, I thought about that for a while. Then I thought, what a profound thing to say. What would I ask myself, or what would I say to myself, knowing what I know now, knowing I was going to come through this time, but what I would say to myself 5 years ago, to warn myself or undergird myself or enlighten myself. When you ask that question to yourself, really something interesting happens inside. If you ask yourself, what would you have done or told yourself 5 years ago? And what would you tell yourself today, knowing the way you're going to be living your life, or what you're going to say? What would you say? Have you learned some valuable lessons in life? You know, many of the comments I've heard are, well, I would just tell myself, just brush your damn teeth. Or other people say, just be nice. Or just be honest. And a lot of people said that I asked this question too, well, I'd probably tell myself to go to bed a little earlier, or eat more salads. What would you say to yourself? In this day and age we're living in right now, there's a lot of fear. A lot of people are suffering from fear. In fact, I notice most of the tune-ups that get the most viewership are all about what I say about fear and what we can do about fear. And I believe if we were to come back 5 years from now, what would we tell ourselves today based upon what we've learned yesterday? I think that's an interesting question right there. What can you do today differently than you did yesterday or last year that's going to improve upon next year? The answers are usually right there in front of us. What stops us from listening is either denial, a little bit of pain from having to take full responsibility to where we are at this moment, or it just might be living too much in the moment and not preparing for the future. I've been kind of dangerous with that myself at times. Today, ask yourself this question. If I were to have somebody that would travel through time, and it was me, come back to visit me today from 5 or 10 years in the future, what would they tell me? I think that's an interesting and profound question. Ask yourself this question. Knowing what I know today, what would I tell myself 5 years ago? By doing that, it's going to cause you to do a little bit of learning. And remember, fear is only looking into the future with a negative expectation. It could help you get rid of some fear about living in the future. Another person this week told me that, you know, Dr. Gary, I think a lot of people that are afraid to be successful are really just afraid to live. And I agree with that to a point. However, I think a lot of people want to live. They just want to live without risk, and there is no such thing. So the message this week is all about, if you're going to risk having a great life or having an unfulfilled life, what can you do today to push the envelope just a little bit to know you're outside your comfort zone just enough to make progress? When we're moving through life too comfortable, things are a little bit too easy for us, we're really not growing. It's when we push ourselves a little bit beyond comfort, beyond that space of knowing what's predictable, and pushing just a little bit harder, we really start growing. We really figure out what we're all about. That's one of the big fads now on television. There's these super reality shows of doing some of these extreme sports. People pushing themselves outside the comfort zone to really discover what they really are capable of. And it's an amazing story when we really take a look at what we can do today by just pushing a little bit harder. So maybe in the future, you'll have a voice that would have come back and said, I'm proud of you because you pushed your envelope way beyond your comfort zone and you succeeded. Let's work on thinking about that this week. What could you do today that's going to put you just a little bit outside your comfort zone but gives you a good edge to probably make a big difference? Could be with your family, your friends, could be with your boss, your coworkers, or it could be creating something brand new for yourself. Let's work on that. Until next week, this is Dr. Gary thanking all of you for hanging with me, being part of these tune-ups, and spread the word. We really appreciate it. Thanks for your feedback. Till next time, bye-bye.